Today, we are gonna take a look at a really brief history of the NBA. I mean like a 6 minutes long history. So, let's get started. The official history of the NBA starts in 1949, but to fully understand it, we must take a 3-year step back. In 1946, the major owners of ice hockey arenas of the Midwest and the Northeast founded the Basketball Association of America, or BAA, a clever move that allowed them to profit from said arenas when there was no ice in them. At the time, two other major leagues existed, the ABL and the NBL, besides independent clubs such as the Harlem Globetrotters. The BAA level of play wasn't higher compared to them, but its decision to play games only in the major cities was its fortune, since it attracted a lot of collegiate players. So, in 1949, the BAA and the NBL merged, and, to avoid internal conflict, they named the new league NBA. However, since the organization maintained the BAA governing body, the NBA recognizes the BAA and its record as part of its history, but it doesn't have the same treatment for the NBL. The early NBA was composed by 17 teams, but it shrunk until the historical minimum of 8 in 1953. There was a lot of franchise movement in the first decade, and games was often boring and low scoring until 1954. When the 24-second shot clock rule was implemented. Before that, the teams used to maintain possession of the ball until they find an open layup, but now they had to shoot in a short amount of time. Then, the 60s came. See any differences? Yeah, the league, previously only for Caucasians, was now full of Afro-American athletes. The first to ever enter the league was Harold Hunter in 1950, and since then, the landscape of the NBA has changed quite a lot. Now, the best players were two Afro-American giants, Bill Russell and Will Chamberlain. The 60s were dominated by Russell's Celtics, which won 9 titles in 10 years. However, the NBA business was still relatively small, especially compared to the other 3 American major leagues in sport. Given that, different investors saw the possibility to give birth to another basketball association, the ABA. This league, founded in 1967, tried to be more flashy and entertaining, with a shiny colored ball, the brand new dunk contest during the All-Star weekend, and the addition of the 3-point line. It challenged the NBA supremacies for 10 years, signing as much talented players as possible. However, due to the lack of television coverage, in 1976, the ABA was forced to merge with the NBA. The 60s and 70s saw the expansion of the NBA from 8 franchises to 22. From now on, there won't be any more challenges to the supremacy of the NBA, an organization that has grown every decade since the merger with the ABA. The 80s saw the resurgence of the biggest rivalry in the NBA, the Lakers versus the Celtics. The two star players, Magic Johnson and Larry Bird, were drafted in the same year and had played against each other during the previous NCAA finals. The flashy style of the Showtime Lakers, guided by the always smiling Magic, and the toughness and skill of Bird's Celtics helped the NBA in the process of creating a huge fan base. This was pushed further even more during the 90s, when Michael Jordan and his Bulls won 6 titles in 8 years. Jordan's immense talent and his magnetism contributed to the immense success of the Air Jordan brand, and MJ became not only a basketball phenom, but also a sport icon. The 2000s, which had different dynasties like the Spurs and the Lakers, saw an increase in the number of players who become real stars. Shaquille O'Neal, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, Dirk Nowitzki, and a lot of others were famous everywhere, not only in the US. The NBA was still growing very fast, and in 2002 the total number of teams was established to be 30, with the foundation of the New Orleans Pelicans. In addition to that, in 2001 the NBA G League was founded, a minor league whose purpose is to discover and train talent for the NBA. The 2010s were a decade of real evolution in the NBA. Started with the 5th Lakers title of the decade, they saw an immense increase of the three-point shot after the Golden State Warriors, with some of the best shooters of all time, won 3 titles in 5 consecutive final appearances. But of course, the NBA is still going on. So, what will be its future? Who will dominate the 20s? Let me know in the comment section. I hope you have learned something today, and if you did, please give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for more NBA analyzing videos.